Welcome to our basic Excel video series. The goal of these videos are to help you be more comfortable with Excel by introducing you to some basic functions that you can explore more in depth on your own. But this is not the only way to do things. Tied to this is the use of other software like Google Sheets. If you use it, just be aware that it has limited functionality and some of the interface is going to be different. Like I said, what I'm going to show you is not the only way to do things and definitely not all that Excel is capable of doing, but it's a place to start. Other versions of Excel, older, newer, Macs, Linux, things like that, might look slightly different, but overall the concepts still apply. If you are a UNM student and want the newest version of Excel, you can go to UNM's IT website and get it. If you're using a Mac, there will be Apple icons along the way with modified information to make it easier for you to follow along. Also, for everybody, make sure that you're using the app version of Excel, not the web-based version. There are some limitations to the web-based version, so make sure that you are using the app-based version to complete this tutorial. The videos are intended to be watched in order because the content builds on what you do in the previous videos. So pause, rewind, and rewatch the content as you need to. You'll need two files for this session. Both are found at ess.unm.edu. Go to Resources, and then Academic Support, and finally into ESS Presentations. You'll need both the Excel file and the text file. We'll walk you through that process, but at least navigate to that page. We have these videos on Excel broken up into 3 units. The first unit covers some basic functions. Then Unit 2 focuses on working with the data by learning how to use basic equations. And lastly, Unit 3 walks you through how to make a few graphs. So for Unit 1, the basics, we'll learn how to enter the data into an Excel file, not just by typing fields in one at a time. Then a few tips and tricks on how to search and present your data. You can enter information directly, one value at a time, into Excel. But sometimes we're given data that we need to work with, and it's in a file, either from a collaborator or an output from equipment that we use to get the data. Let's assume that's the case here. So first, if you haven't already, use the URLs on the screen to get access to the data. Again, you go to https://ess.unm.edu, navigate to our resources, then our academic support option, and then the accordion for ESS presentations. You'll see a section on basic Excel, and you'll access the text file and the Excel file. For the text file, you can save it as it is on your computer. If you'd like to have a local copy, you just right-click and select Save As. You can also use the browser version of the data directly if you still have that open. If you saved it to your computer, open the file with the data from the location you downloaded it. You'll see these data are listed as a bunch of numbers with commas separating the values. We need to copy this information for pasting into Excel. You can always right-click and select Copy, but I like to use keyboard shortcuts as much as possible because they are faster. You can highlight the entire data set by pressing Control and A together, and then copy with Control and C. You can pause the video as you need to so that you don't get behind. So now we're going to put these data into Excel. We're going to do this through the Excel file that you downloaded rather than a blank Excel, because I've already formatted some of the information just to make the process a little bit more efficient to teach you some of the skills. So you're going to open the downloaded Excel file. You might have to click Enable if it's the first time you've opened the file. It's on the top of the page because you downloaded it. It's just Excel making sure you trust the content. This message only appears the first time you open the file. There are a few rows of data already in that Excel file, and it's to show you what we want the data to look like. You're going to put your cursor where you want the data to be pasted, and then within the first column, you're going to right-click and paste the data, or you can push Control V. But look at what happened to all the values. They're listed together in a single column, but that's okay. There is an easy way to split the data across the columns. First, you make sure the data you want it to distribute is highlighted, which it should be if you just pasted it in. Then in the Data tab, select Text to Columns. Notice the delimited option is selected. Leave it like this and then click Next. This is an example of where you can play with the other options on your own. The fixed width option is great if all the attributes have the same number of characters, but that's not the case here. You can see that for the first one, some are 1 digit and some are 2. Now you have to select what data is delimited with. In this case, it's commas. Select that and click Finish. Depending on how the data you have is formatted, another option that's pretty common is Tab. So make sure to look at the original data so that you know which option to select. And you can see a preview of the results, just to make sure you selected the right option. This should distribute the data into the right columns. You can click any cell, so when you do the next function, it's on the full data set, not just the selected cells, because remember there was some data at the top that I put in ahead of time. You want to scroll down all the way to the bottom, just to confirm it worked on the full data set. So you no longer see the graph. Keep scrolling until you don't see the graph. All right, well, while you're down here, if I was to ask you what the data in column E is referring to, would you know without scrolling all the way back to the top? Probably not. We'll address how to handle this in the next video that you'll watch on freeze ink paints.